that is what I've been
Wait,
pretty
why is it
consistent
fundamentally
about.
different? Why is it
Yeah,
fundamentally different?
let me explain this to everyone because I think this is really important to understand. When a president starts a war unilaterally, that drags in American lives, and obviously American lives are at
Wait, yes,
stake.
I agree, but
Congress has to support it to some extent to prevent America's forces to
why?
just being eliminated. Because you don't want a
Wait, why,
strategic
why,
U.S.
why
loss.
could Congress not pull out? Why?
Because okay, think
Why
about
does
this
Congress?
logically.
Why would
No, no,
Congress want the death of people?
I'll answer your question. So, President Trump initiates U.S. strikes on Iran. That puts U.S. service members at risk, right?
No, it doesn't.
If Congress just votes to pull U.S. service members out, that leaves them open
Yeah, you
pickings
have
for
just no
Iranian
evidence for
targets.
this. You just have no evidence. That's
It's
cross.
pretty simple. I mean,
Okay, Judge. Before I start summary, I'd like to take some prep. Partner, remind me how much you took before rebuttal?
I think it was a minute.
Minute. Okay, so we should have 2 minutes left. I'll take running prep, starting when I mute.
Wait, one more thing. One more thing.
Sorry, one second, 1 second. That was a minute and 8. We're gonna take a little more. Sorry.
Well, can I pause the prep time real fast?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Do you guys have somebody on call with you?
I just
Oh,
heard a voice when your partner wasn't talking.
yeah, because when my mic is on, it goes
Wait, no, no,
through.
no. I know it's echoing, but I heard like someone say like, wait, wait.
Yeah, that's
If you
me.
have a dog bot, like
Saying,
what,
wait,
man?
do you wanna see who's on the call? That's me, my partner, and I. It's me saying, wait, can you mute?
No, yeah. I just want to make sure. You're good.
Okay, I mean, sure, I guess.
Yeah, I think that was all our prep time.
All right, perfect. So, Judge, just before we start, a quick off-time roadmap. It's just going to be going down our case, kind of clearing up the mess that it's become, going down their case, and then weighing if time permits. So time will start in 3, 2, 1. Judge, let's start on our case. The main point we want you to remember time and time again is just last month, the United States launched a coordinated attack strikes on Iran, starting a war that killed American soldiers and killed 168 schoolgirls. Remember, this isn't the one and only example we give you. We give you other examples, such as Venezuela, where there was no Congress involved. The opponents try and use this weak claim time and time again. Oh, Congress could have stopped this war. Congress could have stopped this war. But think about it logically, Judge. They've dropped my partner's analysis throughout this whole round. Starting a war is different than supporting it. They have provided absolutely zero evidence saying that Congress would have started this war or would have approved to the president starting this war in the first place. The only evidence they give you is Congress supporting the war after the president starts this. Now, think about why. It's very, very logical, as my partner was trying to explain before he got rudely cut off several times. When you deploy forces in a certain area starting a war, which is what the president did, including the strikes, Congress cannot just pull these forces out because, one, that shows that the US is a very, very uncredible, and Congress has no control over what the president is doing, and they do not work together. This shows our allies and our adversaries The US is a terribly weak governed country. And second, it leaves the soldiers as sitting ducks. They are open to retaliation. They are open to whatever the enemies want to do. That is what we tell you. Then time and time again, we tell you groupthink. They give you this random idea that groupthink is not applied to Congress. But we clearly tell you in our case, groupthink is less applied to Congress because Congress acts as a deliberative body. Remember, time and time again, the president is going rogue and acting on his own interests. Let's move on to their case. They literally admit in their last speech the president has lied in the past and can lie in the future. So let me ask you, what is better? A president that tries to lie and still has to go through the process of Congress, or a president who can lie, spread deceit, do whatever he wants, and initiate whatever conflict he wants with no checks? The second option is the neg world. Let's cover some of their arguments. First, they try and give this squirrely argument of, oh, they can still resort to PMCs, but look specifically to their evidence. They are the ones misconstruing it. One, they only reference the War Powers Resolution, and two, it only references armed forces, not military forces. They agree and cross that PMCs are military forces. You cannot use these PMCs. Then again, remember the critical analysis we made. Supporting a war is different than starting it. They provide absolutely zero evidence saying Congress would have started these wars, and their entire argument is hinged upon the fact, oh, Congress supports these wars. It isn't the same, Judge. Congress goes through a solid deliberative process where wars are less frequent. Even if they authorize the president to be more intense, these wars are less frequent and more thought out and planned rather than a single man acting on his own will whenever he wants and doing whatever he wants. For all of these reasons, we are so proud to affirm. Thank you.
Cool. I'll take some running prep. Time will start now. Cool. That's prep. Since I know don't really want time roadmaps here, it's gonna be really simple. It's going to be our case, their case. Really quick. Time will start now. This debate should not be about which side can stop existing conflicts, just as not Congress. We have read explicit evidence that Congress makes wars worse. Our evidence does a historical analysis of 5 decades of U.S. intervention, and every single conflict, Congress made it worse. That is their own Waxman 24 evidence about, quote, affirming solves a decade later. It tells you that when the Congress authorizes it, it makes wars worse. We all agree, but regardless of the debate, it continues. Congress makes conflict worse because they fully fund it. They have the power of the purse. They can fully fund and fight these wars, following up on the president's desire. Secondly, they have conceded that Congress shifts accountability. Responsibility with the president is towards one person, but in Congress, decision and blame is across 500, encouraging them to take bad actions without accountability. We both agree wars are bad, but they are a component that will continue regardless of if you vote app or neg. The only way to reduce lives cost is to make sure that Congress doesn't make them worse. We will be systematically destroying their entire argument now. We'll go through the entire argumentative line right now. They claim Congress will stop war, saying we have no evidence they would have started it. However, our dropped Bendix evidence from case tells you that Congress is controlled by, quote, war hawks who benefit from war. They have controlled Congress for the past 5 decades. This is the evidence that tells you Congress would have started the war. So don't let them tell you we don't have any evidence. Don't let them respond to it in final focus. But then they tell you that Congress would get dragged in for 2 reasons. We have responded to both. We're just crushing them on the logic. First, they claim servicemen are sitting ducks. What does this even mean? Look, U.S. service members aren't at risk if Congress says you have to come home. This just makes no sense. But second, they say it makes the U.S. look weak. But first, this is new in summary and makes logically no sense. If the president is doing bad wars like we both agree on, which are killing people, doesn't that mean stopping it makes the U.S. look credible? It just makes allies understand, hey, maybe the US is not such a bad country that wants to go out killing people. The last ditch effort that they go for is an idea of groupthink. A, the card of groupthink does not mention Congress at all. And B, in fact, Congress is probably more susceptible to groupthink because there's so many different factions in Congress, Republicans versus Democrats, for example, which is exactly why every single time in the Iran war, in those 2 times they had the votes, guess what it was split? It was split between Republicans and Democrats. This just disproves that Congress is less likely to be caught up in groupthink. Clearly, nobody in Congress can agree, and in general, war hawks have more power, which is why they continue to support presidential wars through every single decade, through 5 decades. Meanwhile, they cannot give you a single example of a war Congress has stopped. They say it's because the president lies. But again, the president still can lie when you affirm. There is no rule stopping him from lying to them. Insofar as that's true, you know the negative is the only way to vote.
Okay, so
Sounds good for Grand.
yeah. Time will start in 3, 2, 1. So I asked this before. I'm going to ask this again. We're going to
Yeah,
go to this
please.
point about like wars being more deadly with congressional approval. When was the last time Congress gave approval before the president
In
went through an
2000
action to start a war?
9/11.
in 2000, oh, not, I guess 9/11 also,
9/11 is a war.
2014.
Yeah, it's called, quote, the war on terror.
Yeah. Wait, also 2014, the war like Iran, I guess 2002 AMF. That's not the point. Our evidence does an historical analysis of every single time when the US tried to intervene.
So let's look
Congress
at it
doesn't- Let
logically,
me finish,
right?
please. Can I finish, please?
Yeah, I mean, you're just
Yeah,
repeating
wait,
the evidence.
I'm sorry. I'm
I
not
know the
repeating the
evidence.
evidence. I'm trying to make the analysis. I'm trying to make
I
this
understand
clear to
the
you.
evidence.
Because wait. Just let me finish. I've also gave you the respect of trying to finish. Our evidence is a historical analysis that every single time that Congress has tried to get involved, all it does is just like increase conflict. It is from every single time that Congress has tried to intervene in war. Your evidence is only about like issues like Iran and Venezuela.
So let's look at this logically, right? What are the reasons Congress
Start
gets
this.
involved? It's because they logically think through, why are we involved in this war? Is it worth going to war? Should we actually go to war? And once they determine, yes, we should go to war, obviously, when they provide more funding, more materials, more
Right.
weapons of destruction, of course, there's going to be more
So
deaths.
let's talk about that
Your
idea.
logic makes zero sense, to be
Wait,
honest.
okay, I'll shut all of this down, judges, with one
Wait,
example.
can I ask one
Wait,
really,
wait.
really quick
Sorry, can
follow-up?
I get the question now?
Yeah.
We've answered your question and you're just,
Sure. You can take a
yeah.
question. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about 9/11. Do you
Yeah.
agree that 9/11 killed millions of innocent Afghanis, Middle Eastern people?
I
Yes.
do, but I also agree that the
Yes.
president was the
It's
one
a
who
yes or no
took
question.
actions
Yes.
on.
Cool. And
And
we've already established,
okay,
and
we
we've
answered.
already established,
I take a question.
right? Can I get a really quick follow-up?
Sure.
I asked like what are the shortest questions ever.
Yeah, sure.
Wait, we've established that Congress acted before the Congress started the war. Can you please tell me why did Congress
Congress,
not stop?
telling me Congress acted before the president in 9/11.
Yes, Congress told the president we should go to war to fight terrorists.
So the president wasn't the one issuing executive orders and pressuring Congress into.
Yeah, we can send you the evidence that says Congress helped the president do this. So, judges,
okay.
I ask you right now,
So when was
why
this
did
evidence
Congress?
ever read before? Please,
Sorry.
like, tell me, when was this evidence ever
Wait,
read?
we talk about the empiric a lot, and you just don't call for the card, and you didn't send
You
rebuttal
talk
evidence
about
either.
war is more deadly by congressional approval. I never once
Yeah, we've
heard
mentioned the empirics.
nine
You
eleven.
at, I
I
mean, look,
never heard 9/11.
you
This
asked
ends.
me in first crossfire. Can you give me an example? I give you Vietnam and I give you 9/11 post 9/11. Okay, so can you answer the question?
Sure.
Can you answer the
Okay.
question? If Congress acted before president,
Congress did not act
why
before. That is what I am
why
saying.
did they not stop the
It's
war?
just the truth. Congress did not act before.
Do you have any
Again,
evidence for that? Because
I
we can
implore
send
the
you
judges
evidence
to just
and they
use their
can't.
basic logical skills. What happened first? The presidential executive orders, which were demanding Congress to act in this situation, or
No, I can
Congress
send you
acted
the
after
evidence if you
executive orders.
want, but yeah.
It's too late. I mean, the judges just need to use their
Yeah,
logic.
it's too late for you to
That's
respond
that's
as well.
that's cross.
All right. I'll just start final focus if everyone's ready. Uh, my time will start in three, two, one. Judges, this round has gotten ridiculously confusing, but let me boil it down really clearly right now. The thesis of the affirmative, which has been this entire time, is to prevent wars from starting in the first place, thus solving for everything the negative talks about escalating wars. The negative makes it seem like there's this one situation that will infinitely repeat itself. But we have consistently made the analysis that starting a war is not the same as supporting it and given you clear logic as to why that is the case. Once a president starts a war, he immediately triggers those downstream effects of a war. That is so simple to understand. Once a president unilaterally takes out military action against another, Congress can't just cancel it with the snap of a finger. That triggers strategic implications. That triggers alliances to come into force. That triggers international crises, recessions, and things like that. Congress is sometimes forced to act in these situations, not even mentioning the fact that the president can manipulate Congress. Now they continually say that the president can continually lie post AF. But here's the question. Would you rather live in a world where A, the president can lie but has to go through congressional authorization for any action he wants to take, or you can continue living in our world where the president unilaterally declares war or acts of war without by lying to Congress and without having to lie to Congress because he can just do it? I think the choice is pretty clear. Now, this should be really simple. And they've continually tried to obfuscate this argument, but it's really, really, really clear. Congress is forced into supporting these wars, and they cannot provide you the necessary counterfactual that Congress would support these wars. They continually say that because Congress was forced into supporting these wars, that means that they would independently start them. That does not make sense, especially given all the analysis that we have read throughout this round as to why the two are not the same. For this reason, you're voting for the affirmative. Thank you.
Cool. I don't think you have prep.
Okay, great. Again, oh, sorry, I have to. Okay, sorry, my phone is dead, so I'm pulling up an online timer. Okay, um, just to reiterate, my name is Krish, and I'll just be cleaning up this debate, my final focus. Are all three of my judges and is everyone ready? Um, the other two judges? Oh,
Judges
okay,
ready.
sure. All right, great. Okay, I'll start on my first word. We all agree that war is bad, but regardless of this debate's decision, it will continue. However, they have dropped an argument that fully goes against their case for 3 speeches in a row that Congress makes conflicts worse. Our Waxman evidence, which is their own evidence about voting absolves a decade later, finds that from every conflict that Congress has tried to stop war and conflict, they only made it worse by up to more than half a year of additional conflict. This should end the debate right now. If you really believe that stopping war is bad, you're not voting for them, you're voting for us, because we're the only side that actually solves war. Additionally, Congress does this because they have the ability to shift accountability and responsibility, which again, they've conceded for 3 speeches in a row. Remember the analysis, it should be at the top of your decision. Responsibility with the president is towards one person, but in Congress, decisions and blames is across 500, encouraging them to take bad actions without accountability. our evidence historical, whereas their evidence is hypothetical. Another reason Congress starts and fuels war is because of war hawks. These are congressional men who benefit off war and fuel it. Our Bendix evidence from 5 decades of U.S. intervention finds that they love war, passing the policy that the president has passing the power that the president has to people who have controlled Congress for the past 5 decades only means that debts exponentially rise and more conflict appears. They just said that we have no evidence, but here it is. They have conceded the evidence for the past 3 speeches in a row, and they provided no counter evidence. Even if this isn't enough to vote negative, go to their arguments. Their entire argument is that starting a war is different, but we've responded to this twice. The 9/11 empiric is literally dropped that war killed millions of innocent people, and Congress literally told the president to start the war. But logically, US servicemen aren't at risk if they get recalled. This makes zero sense. But second, they said that it makes US look weak, but if the president is doing bad wars, which is killing people, doesn't that mean that stopping it makes the US look more credible? Look, they have done the nail in the coffin. They have conceded all of our arguments. It should be game over right here. Good debate, guys.
Good round, guys. Thank you,
Thank
judges.
you for judging.
Judges.
Thank you for judging.
Judges.